Okay, so now we are discussing the verbs in the preterite that have doble vocales, double vowels. Okay, we know that the vowels in Spanish are the same as they are in English, which we can see a little ahead of this slide. The bottom of this one, the vocales en español, A, E, I, O, U. The vocales en inglés, A, E, I, O, U. Same five, just pronounced differently. Okay, so there are some issues with a vowel or a verb that has a double vowel in it. Again, we would want to conjugate it this way. So this is your typical conjugación. You would cut off the endings, drop the new endings on, but here is the problem. So it's on these bottom two forms is what is creating the issue at this point. You have creyó, and you have to pronounce all three letters. Creyó, creyó, which is hard to say smoothly. And then if you get on the other side, even harder, creyeron. So it's a tongue twister type thing. So in order to make it easier to pronounce those words so that when a person communicates, it rolls off the tongue better, we did the same thing. We still have the top forms. Creí, creíste, creyó. Now look what we did. Instead of the I, instead of having vowel, 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 we have vowel, consonant, vowel. So the Y in Spanish is never considered a vowel, okay? So that is how you're going to break up those triple vowels. The other thing I want you to notice, as you look at these on both sides, again, it's these bottom two forms, is this vowel, those that have a double E in them, have accents on every form except this one down here. So just a side note, you're going to have to kind of keep your eye open for that and make sure that you're not forgetting about that, okay? All right, and then you should try and maybe do a couple of these in your notes before you look down here at the bottom and see if you can't conjugate them correctly, and then look here below for the answers. All right? Okay, so we're going to move on then to our next slide. These are just some examples of the writing prompts that the students did in class. We kind of went back over them and looked at them. And then on the 29th, last Thursday, we talked about other verbs que cambian, the verbs that change, okay? And these change a little bit differently. So, for example, you have vestirse, which means to get dressed. Now, normally, we know this is reflexive, and its stem changes E to I, okay? Now, stem changing, and this is a really critical concept, stem changing only occurs in the present tense. We are not in the present tense. We are talking about the preterite tense, okay? So there is no stem changing that takes place here, but there are some spelling issues that are going to go on, okay, that are similar to stem changing. So let's start at the top. So the top three forms are normal. May, actually they're not normal. This is where we're going to see it happening first. Me visto. V-I-S-T-O. So you see the E go to an I right away, right? Nos vestimos. Now look at this, back to the E. Te vistes. There it is again, the I. We're not doing anything here because we never do. Se viste and se vistieron. So it kind of looks like it's a stem changing verb, but it's really not. It is just considered a spelling change. Okay, so that's how vestirse is going to work, and all of these verbs up here, like pedir, servir, and repetir, will all work that same way. Not every verb will do this, so only the ones that we are discussing right now are the ones that you'll be responsible for knowing. Don't try and apply those same changes to other verbs, okay? You will run into some issues there. We can add seguir to this list, and the compound conseguir to this list as well, okay? Obviously, desvestirse would be included. Dormirse would also work the same way. So any of the compounds of these verbs will follow these same changes. So just keep that in the back of your head, that that's what you're going to have to do with those. All right? Okay. You see a couple here, and I'm going to take these out and move them down below because they change a little bit differently. All these that are in the box right now are E to I, okay, with the exception of these three. So let me just pull these out, and let's put them down below in another box to kind of focus on. Okay, and we'll be back.